special edition of Tea Time. Thank you for tuning in. As you can see, I'm here with a pack full of my fellow patriots, and we're on our way to Washington, D.C. For the Audit the IRS rally. We're here to voice our opinion on our freedoms and the infringement of our freedoms. And as you can see, we are expecting a very good turnout today.
There must be something that's over.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'm here with Randy, and he just basically passed us by here on his bike, and he has a few words to say. Nice to meet you, Randy.
I've been living here, thank you, it's a pleasure. I've been living here now about 10 years. I'm from Tucson, and I didn't really think of politics until I got here. It's so obvious that it's a big free-for-all. Money, easy money, the people's money. It doesn't matter whether it's Republican or Democrat, they waste it. They drive around in their fancy big limousines, they're rude, they're mean, and they will run you over if you don't get out of their way on our money. The system is not working because our system is corrupt.
Tim, come back.
Don't worry about it. Okay. Barbara from Harlem. Barbara, are you a Republican?
I'm a registered Democrat
Oh, so then what are you here today for?
because I vote for the people who will do the best job for America, and they happen to be Republicans.
So why is that?
Well, I mean, what they believe in the strength of the individual. They believe in free markets, capitalism, and for the most part, the party that I am a member of legally, they don't believe in that. They don't believe in the individual. They try to get people to become dependent upon the government so that they can have total control and stay in office. The government shouldn't be even in health care. We don't have a government that's supposed to be in healthcare telling me what doctor to go to, what services I need to have. We have a government that's supposed to be closing our borders, protecting us from those who want to hurt Americans. So it's not right for them to be involved. The majority of us are not that stupid to believe that they are going to fairly investigate themselves. Eric Holder, I say he runs a Department of Injustice. I don't say he runs a Department of Justice. Because the things that he's doing to Americans, even when it came to the Black Panther Party, that should have been prosecuted. He ignored that. When it came to us finding out about Fast and Furious, where our tax dollars went, what happened? The executive privilege pen came out. So how can we can trust them?
But we have so many reasons to be encouraged. Just look around right now, around you today with everyone who is here.
Conservatives had private confidential tax information leaked, and conservative groups were systematically targeted by the IRS. As the press has reported, a worker in Cincinnati was quoted as saying, "We don't do anything here without direction." I'm here today to commit to you. We will get the answers.
When you look at this president, his administration, Obama's Justice Department sold arms to narco-terrorists that used to kill an American agent. They're spying on the AP and Fox News reporters. President Obama's State Department lied about Benghazi. Hillary Clinton's own spokeswoman helped cover it up. Obama's Department of Defense declared a terrorist attack by someone inspired by an Islamic radical at Fort Hood, Texas. They called it workplace violence. That's an insult. Obama's Energy Department, the Inspector General in 2011 launched over 100 criminal probes related to stimulus spending. Obama's EPA, Lisa Jackson, conducted official business using a false alias so her emails wouldn't be subject to FOIA. When it came to light, she resigned, and then the agency covered it up by awarding accommodations from the department to the fake alias. Outrageous. President Obama's NLRB, illegal appointments, pawns of the labor unions. One of his appointments is even involved in an investigation now into racketeering charges. And finally, the IRS. We're here today to talk about the IRS, what they've done to target conservatives. You know, this Tea Party, this taxed enough already movement that we're all part of, started because we were fed up. But we didn't know the half of it. And so today we've got to rededicate ourselves. We've got to recommit ourselves to what we came together in the first place about, which is reforming the tax code, which is saying enough is enough to Washington, D.C. You have too much of my money. Give me back my money. We've got to recommit to that. Now is the time for us to leave from here and go out and continue to build this movement, to continue to put pressure on politicians who don't think like us. Now is the time for tax reform. Now is the time. Today is the day. I'm proud to be here with you. Let's get the fight going. Thank you.
First of all, I want to take care of a matter of business. I want to take your picture because I don't want to read in the press tomorrow that only 12 people and a three-legged dog showed up. You are the heartbeat of America. I want you to know that. You're why I'm here. I served in Congress from 94 to 2000, and I left voluntarily because I don't believe it should be a career. I signed on to come back and fight to get our government back on track again and balanced and according to the Constitution. I want to tell you something. If we adhered strictly to Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution and its 20 enumerated powers, we would balance the budget next week. And that's what we need to do. The IRS investigation should not be handled by Eric Holder. You do not let the fox guard the hen house.
People are awakening. A majority of people are saying, we don't trust the government now. Well, what that tells me as a student of history is that a majority of Americans are now getting the mindset of the founders who did not trust government. Unfortunately, some of our Republican leaders have said, now that America gets it, let's change the subject and talk about amnesty. It's time for number one to say, resolved, Mr. President, when you do your job and secure the border as confirmed by 4 border states, then we'll take up immigration that badly needs reform. But until then, let's have a tax reform that the American people deserve, and we will have government serving, not you serving the government. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you very much.
So I figured it out. Maybe the FBI would know who's heading up the investigation if they weren't spending so much time trying to figure out where Jimmy Hoffa was buried. Did you see that? Thank you for what you're doing on this issue and a host of others. We appreciate the energy you bring to American politics and your love for this great country. Look, there's no statute of limitations on the truth. Doesn't matter what the scandal is. Benghazi, IRS, you name it, we are committed to getting to the truth. And more importantly, or maybe most importantly, we are committed to stopping this Obamacare legislation from actually happening. And I'll finish with this. When the agency charged with enforcing Obamacare systematically targeted groups who came into existence because they opposed Obamacare, and they started the targeting the very month, March 2010, that Obamacare became the law, we can't have this health care bill become law. We just can't have it. My favorite scripture verse, 2 Timothy 4:7, Paul writes to Timothy, he says this, I fought the good fight, I've finished the course, I've kept the faith. That is our charge. If we do that, we'll make sure America continues to be the greatest nation ever. God bless you.
Oh, what a joy to be with you. I tell you, America has come to D.C. And we're going to do it by dismantling the IRS piece by piece. We're going to throw it overboard like a box of British tea. And we're going to replace it with a fairer, flatter, friendlier tax code for America that empowers you and not the government. God bless you, and may the Lord bless this great and glorious cause we call America.
God bless you, and thank you for coming. One thing that we have heard from the politicians inside this dome is that they often are probably more frightened of real people than anything else. So I think that there are shivers right now going up the spines of a lot of politicians in that building. You have seen the challenge and you have met it. And now it's time for the politicians to listen to all of you. You're here and you're clear with your message. And your message is it's time to abolish the IRS, take up something where every single American has to pay something to support this magnificent country. And together, that's exactly what we'll do. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you for coming.
In the building behind me, they have not suspended or fired, but have promoted those at the IRS who rattled the chains of control to any group that disagreed with its policies. And now they are pushing misery and death through the so-called Arab Spring, country after country, and now they are plotting a new war with Syria. This again will bring nothing but death and destruction the world over. And it is us now that historians will watch to see what we will do. Will it be said of us, this generation, that no one called for justice, no one pleaded for truth, that we trusted in vanity and spoke in lies, that we conceived mischief and brought forth iniquity? What is it that we even believe anymore? And where did we get these ideas that now seem to be so popular with our fellow citizens? They knew they had the right to worship the God of their understanding the way they chose to worship. I, for one, still believe in the simple, silly notion of truth, justice, and the American way. And now it seems those on the short end of the stick are all those of faith that will not conform. In the past, these historic stands in America, which we now call civil rights movements, were all done by a small but dedicated portion of citizens, which led to great and profound changes in our nation. But those movements always started in the same place, the church, and with people of God, and usually not the popular churches. Our pulpits in this country have gone silent out of fear, out of arrogance, or out of apathy. Their faith is now found in the wisdom of man and not the power of God. For some preachers losing their tithing checks, or maybe it's the gold Rolex, has become more important than losing man's freedom. Whatever the reason, they are no longer willing to call evil by its name. And there is no vision. And when there is no vision, the people shall perish. Pretty important. And they're pretty obvious. In fact, they were so obvious that we used to say they were self-evident. For those people who are currently under indoctrination in our universities, let me explain self-evident. That means they're so simple that humans don't even have to have them explained to them. You know. You don't need to be taught. You instinctively know that you have a right not to be executed without trial, not to be held without charge, not to be searched without warrant, or spied upon without cause. The government is no longer the protector of those rights. They are the chief violator of those rights. And so we must stand and protect them. When we are told that the IRS, the EPA, the ATF, the FBI, or any of the others when we're told it's okay for them to hassle, threaten, or intimidate others because of their skin color, their religion, their political belief, we stop being the country all of us want to build and start being the country all of the world should fear. I actually like Vegas more than this city. I realized the only difference between Las Vegas and Washington, D.C. is at least Vegas has the decency to admit it's full of crooks and hookers. We as a people no longer accept the lies, the corruption, the information and data gathering. It is evil, it is un-American, it is wrong. We as a nation, in our documents and again today, acknowledge there is a creator. We acknowledge that he gives us certain inalienable rights. We declare that government exists primarily to protect those natural God-given rights. We declare that God has established right and wrong. We declare that he is just, and therefore man must pay for his mistakes either now on earth or through his justice later. But there is no such thing as social justice. Only God can balance things out. And we are bold enough to declare today, increasing the competition at the lowest rung of the ladder while keeping the brightest and best minds out of the visa pool, allowing for little competition at the very top. It's wrong. The cause of human rights has been taken over in this country by a group of clownish organizations who share very little with the individuals who led the movement in the 60s. Human rights was once a cry for justice. Now it's merely used as a threat. These organizations have become bullies, grotesque parodies of the principles they pretend to represent. They criticize free nations and spare the unfree. They are nearly comical in their double standards. They are no more the enforcers of civil rights. They are the attack dogs who wish to keep men confined in spaces they design. Whatever moral authority they once had is spent. Their time is up, and we dismiss them. I challenge you. Martin Luther King didn't take a class. He didn't get a certificate. He didn't go out and get a bunch of permits. He saw injustice. He studied eternal truths. He exercised discipline and love. And he got off his butt and he marched. If you don't find a leader, it's perhaps that you were destined to be the leader. Frederick Douglass's time was in the 1800s. Martin Luther King's time is past. This is our time. Yes. And the long march towards civil rights is here. Stand without fear. Lock arms. Stare down the bullies with the full armor of God.
I do want to remind you that this trip is not a tax-deductible expense. Be sure you remember that. I grew up with the belief that we, the people, control this government. As Ronald Reagan pointed out, other governments, their constitution says what the government gives the people the right to do, and ours says we, the people, grant the government certain rights. And that has slipped away from us, my friends. The IRS is not there to pick on us. They're there to serve us, and they better know that, and we need to get rid of those that don't understand it.
Anybody want to fire some IRS agents? Why don't we start with the 16,000 IRS agents that are going to implement Obamacare? And we're sick and tired of government bullies, and we need to send them home. We've been fighting for a decade against people who attacked us. We didn't attack them, they attacked us. We've been fighting for a decade to protect our country. We've been fighting for freedom. The freedom we're fighting for, and I hear it every day from the soldiers, is encoded, is in the Bill of Rights. It is the Constitution. I will continue to defend it, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
In case you missed it, on the other side of the Capitol, we delivered 2 million petitions from citizens across the country to repeal Obamacare, with a little help from Mike Huckabee. Can we have a round of applause for Jenny Beth Martin on the hard work at Tea Party Patriots?
We're at the edge of a cliff, a fiscal and economic cliff. We're bankrupting our country, and there's too much power in Washington. It's being abused against the American citizens. How do we change it? We stand together, and our voice will be heard. So I encourage you to double and redouble what you're doing. Speak up loudly on the IRS. We need to abolish the IRS. We need to padlock it, shut it down. I would encourage you, come to our website, tedcruz.org, and sign a national petition. Speak out. Let's shut down the IRS, and let's take our country back and defend the Constitution.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Texas, my family and me want you to run in 2016. Go for higher office. We're hungry for leadership. We are so hungry. You have come in like a lion, brother. Keep up the great work.
All of us, we're standing up for principle, which it shouldn't be uncommon. It should be what all 535 members of Congress are doing. And it's going to take the American people demanding that to change it.
We're here. We're with you.
All right, God bless.
Senator, my name is Danny.
Hi, Danny.
I'm with New Jersey Tea Party Coalition.
Yoo-hoo!
Saw you're obviously on YouTube. Love it. And,
Oh, thank you.
It really strikes to my core.
Thank you. Don't make me cry. Don't do it.
All right. I just wanted to ask you questions.
Sure.
Basically, I'm here with Becky. This is a show for Tea Time.
Okay.
I just want to ask you, what do you think of this turnout today?
Well, I'm surprised. It was a great turnout. There wasn't much notice of this rally taking place, so I had no idea. But I started hearing that buses were coming in from other states, and I think it's a fantastic turnout. I'm just excited to see everyone.
Yeah, and especially for a Wednesday.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The other question I have is, we're from New Jersey. We're in the New Jersey, New York area. We're on the front lines over there.
Oh.
I've been seeing some sentiment from our own Tea Party members in the regards to they're losing a little bit of hope, especially because we are on the front lines. What would you say to people in our groups?
If I could just encourage people, after my testimony 2 weeks ago, the response I received was just incredible. And I'm really not a cryy kind of person, except when it comes to the military and my country. But my husband and I sat through reading these emails and just were bawling because we're out there. Everyone in America, it seems like, feels this way, that we're losing some of our principles, some of our values, and from what I've heard, they're still out there. There's still so many people that love this country. So I would just recommend, get involved. Don't sit down. Stand up, because everybody's ready to move. Everyone still loves this country. So.
Also, just one last question. In our Tea Party group, I'm actually leading the social networking groups, and I'm trying to get all of us activated. Because I really feel that we're disbanded. It's almost, we have this common goal. It's just that we're disbanded. We really need to connect with each other. Is there anything you can talk about that?
Well, I know there are a lot of Facebook pages out there. Wetumpka Tea Party on Facebook is a great place to go. Wetumpka Tea on Twitter. I just think once we begin finding each other, we're hooked up with a lot of people, so maybe you need to come over to our side and meet some of our friends. That'd be great.
Yeah, because we literally are on the front lines in New York, New York and New Jersey.
We feel for you over there.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
But you know what?
Yes.
I am finding too from the letters. I've received several from New York. You're not alone. It's just people are maybe afraid to speak out over there because you're surrounded by a lot of opposition, but you're doing a great thing, so keep it up.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do that one first.
Ready?
Cheese.
Good.
All right, well, I'm here with Cole at the IRS Tea Party rally here in Washington, D.C., and he has a few things to say.
I think it's really important that all these folks here show up today, tomorrow, and for the weeks to come so that we keep pressure on our elected officials and also those who are not elected, those who volunteer at our local Republican and Libertarian and other parties, some maybe even Democrat community leaders. We have to keep the pressure on those people. And we really do have a chance to change the direction of this country, and that's with Rand Paul here in 2016. He spoke today. What a breath of fresh air. He speaks to young people, he speaks to old people, he speaks to people of all backgrounds, of all ethnicities. You know, he speaks to everybody. And how can you not embrace liberty? If you embrace liberty and freedom, which our country's all about, you're for Rand Paul 2016. Right. As a liberty-minded Republican. Right. And what we have to remind ourselves is government is the one who causes these problems in the first place. Ronald Reagan said, you know, the worst thing that you could be told by someone is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Yeah. So that's kind of the mindset that we Americans especially, and those others around the world, they just haven't had the opportunity, and they haven't had a great Bill of Rights like we have had to protect ourselves from the intruding forces of government that have come into the lives of especially young people. Look at our debt, and look at, they're trying to throw us in jail for everything now. Government has gone too far, and I think that there is a time coming where there is a liberty-minded conservative movement that I think will sweep the country.
Well, thank you for joining us on this Tea Time session. We are live here from Washington, D.C. and a very large crowd with great speakers. The common message that was overlaid today was basically that the government has overextended their reach, and we need to really stand and voice our opinion. Again, I thank you for coming to watch the show today, and thank you for watching Tea Time. You can find us at njteapartycoalition.org, and thank you for coming tonight. Bye-bye.